Hello all my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. If this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, my name's Vanessa and I and I'd like to welcome you into the fam. So guys, today I have another super intricate, in-depth love tarot reading prepared for you. And in order to help you figure out exactly how your love life is going to look like a year from now, and by a year from now I mean starting from the moment you click this video, I have prepared 4 groups for you to choose from. And I'd like you to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. And guys, this pick a card tarot reading is going to have some lengthy individual groups. So make sure that you're set up in a really chill, comfortable position. Make yourself some tea, grab your favorite snack, set yourself up if you're commuting to work or school and you're just listening to this in form of a podcast, and we'll delve into it together in order to figure out exactly what your love life will look like a year from now. So I will now first introduce you to the 4 groups that I have prepared for you. Then I'll give you a little moment of privacy so you can select your group, and then I'll get straight into your love readings. So let's get into it, shall we? Group number 1 corresponds to the Pink Pain Tarot deck, as well as the Orange Calcite Crystal and the following sound. Group number 2 corresponds to the Shamanic Medicine Oracle deck, as well as the Black Obsidian Crystal and the following sound. Group number 3 corresponds to the Daily Crystal Inspiration Oracle deck, as well as the Amazonite Crystal and the following sound. And group number 4 corresponds to the Wild Muse Oracle deck, the Pyrite Crystal, as well as the following sound. If you're at this point of the video and you're not quite sure which group to choose, check your clock for what time it is, check the number of notifications that you currently have, maybe look out the window and find a house number or a license plate. You may see a number between 1 and 4 that you intuitively connect to, or that's showing up as a synchronicity in your life. And that can help you to select one of these 4 groups in order to receive your reading if you find that your intuition is a little off today. But I'll now give you a moment of privacy to meditate on the 4 groups, and then I'll be right back to guide you into your predictions. So by now you've hopefully been able to select one of these 4 groups in order to receive your personal pick a card reading. I'll be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Pink Pain Tarot deck, as well as the Orange Calcite. So if this is the group that you chose and felt drawn towards, please continue watching. And to all of my other lovely groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Pink Pain Tarot deck in connectivity to the Orange Calcite. Now, you may have chosen this group because it's obviously stunning, but maybe also because you intuitively knew that the Orange Calcite was the crystal for you, bringing revitalizing and re-energizing type of vibes into your life and helping you to steer clear of any drama or gossip. Either way, let's move into your reading to figure out exactly what your love life is going to look like a year from now, all of my beautiful babies of the zodiac. Leave a little comment below to let me know what sign that you belong to in your sun sign. First off, we've got the King of Pills. Now, the King of Pills is going to be important in your love life a year from now. Group 1, you may not know what this means whatsoever, but thankfully I'm here to explain to you. The King of Pills is the King of Earth, as the suit of pills corresponds to the element of Earth. So think Capricorn, Virgo, but also Taurus type of energy. This is a very grounded, practical, and loyal person. You can count on them. And because they are the King of Pills and not the Queen, the Knave, the Princess, or any other type of person when it comes to the suit of pills, they are most likely older than you. They're someone who has their life figured out. They're steady, they are supportive, and they know what they want in life. And they are most likely also pretty established when it comes to their career, so they don't need any support from you other than love and emotional support and your loyalty, because they've got all of the earthly and mundane things figured out for themselves. Next up, we've got the lovers. Oh, this is completely clear, group number one, that there is meant to be a romantic connection with this person, with the King of Pills having this earth sign energy as a very important energy. Think their big three, their sun, moon, or rising sign being in an earth sign, or all three being in earth signs. I can see here within the lovers that we definitely have that connectivity to them being a person that works to be in a harmonious relationship. I can see that a year from now, you will be in a relationship where you're with someone who respects you, someone who truly wants to commit, and who is here for the long run. That is what the lovers stands for. Next up, we've got the Two of Bottles reversed. You're really just getting the best cards, group number one, when it comes to your love life. The Two of Bottles, also known as the Two of Cups in traditional tarot decks, is all about that romantic love. It's all about that intimacy, that connection and bond of mutual attraction, and things just being really interesting and fun. With the Two of Bottles showing up reversed for you, I do definitely see here that, of course, it's going to take a little while for you to find this person. After all, this reading is all about your love life a year from now. But do know within the Two of Bottles that nevertheless, this is like the perfect connection for you. A year from now, you're going to be really happy with your love life. You're going to feel as though your love life revitalizes and re-energizes you rather than making you feel stressed out. And it's going to be a very favorable situation for you, group number one. Next up, we've got freedom. So I can see here that a year from now, your love life is going to make you feel as though you've got the freedom to do whatever you want to do. Knowing that you've got the King of Pills, so the King of Earth, basically, they're very driven to accomplish a lot when it comes to the material realm. Money is important to them, and they potentially also come from money. So having freedom here, it does show me that also when it comes to finances and when it comes to your dreams and aspirations, that will give you some freedom and some stability, because you know that you have someone who you can count on should anything go wrong. Now, that doesn't mean that you are not creating any financial stability yourself, group number one. Don't take this the wrong way. But at the end of the day, it's better to have two people who are financially stable than just one, right? Having that double security is what I can see here that gives you a lot of peace of mind and, as mentioned, freedom. Next up, we've got study as well as strength. So I do see here within studying that you will have the freedom to study, to go back to school, or to add on some sort of classes or some sort of extra diploma that you're maybe looking at. Maybe you want to learn a new language or do a yoga teacher training. A training when it comes to herbalism, for example. There are just lots of different things that are open to you that you're free to choose from. And I see here within strength that everything you've experienced in your love life up until this point, group number one, has actually just prepared you for this situation that is happening with your love life a year from now. So any type of heartbreak, downfalls, challenges that you may have gone through, but also the good times, and knowing that it's important for you to stick to your standards, keep them high, and not compromise your integrity for anyone. That has all kind of morphed you into the person that you needed to be in order for this to be your love life a year from now. Because in a sense, sometimes we need to go through some really tough situations and through some really bad challenges in order to even realize how strong that we are and how deserving that we are when it comes to love, but also other things in life. I see here within body work that your life purpose involves body work. Think massage therapy, energy healing, physical therapy, or exercise training, just overall being busy, being physical. That is one thing that I can see here that will be important to you a year from now. Now, even if you can't imagine that whatsoever right now, group number one, maybe you work in an office where you're at a desk all day and you just can't see yourself being as physically active, do know that a lot can change in a year. And this reading, after all, is all about what your love life is going to be like a year from now. And feeling a sense of freedom and support from a lover and romantic partner, and having the ability to learn new things, right, to go back into studying, is going to change a lot for you. So your partner is going to bring a lot of physical and mental health into your life, and your love life just overall is going to make you feel as though you are now able to thrive and also make yourself uncomfortable when it comes to exercising, body work, and trying new things, because you know that you have so much stability romantically and in your home. Next up, we've got the foggy bog. So I can see here that patience is a big part of this relationship. Nobody's perfect, but I see here that while we have the King of Earth signs, we've got someone who is very patient, who is very caring, and who understands that sometimes it just takes a little bit of time for things to work out. They are never pushy, never trying to rush you to do anything. And I can see here within the wolf spirit that an important thing with them is also family. And I do see here that you're going to take your time to meet one another's families, to truly integrate this relationship into your existing ones, into your existing connections, because you want to be careful. You, of course, want to ensure that you're not involving anyone in your private life with your friends or family until you know that you're 100% sure that they are the one. So that is also a good sign, though, because when you do introduce someone, it's meaningful. It's not just another fling or meaningless relationship. So I do see here that being patient when it comes to meeting family is part of your love life a year from now, and also patience when it comes to starting your own family. You're not going to do that a year from now. You may be thinking about it, but you also know that you'll need a little bit more time to grow, to stabilize your own career, and to ensure that you've lived life a little before you make that commitment. I see here within the owl spirit that wisdom is something that you find really appealing and really hot, group number one. And not only are you gaining a lot of extra wisdom, and you will have gained a lot of knowledge that you didn't have a year from now, so you're not going to remain stagnant, you're going to keep growing. But I do also see that the person with whom you're meant to be with, they have this type of wise daddy energy to them, group number one. Yes, I said it. The King of Pills, as already mentioned, is older than you. This is someone who is very caring and has been through some things and is therefore pretty wise. They are very mature and still very mature for their age. And they're just overall the type of person who you can always go to when you've got a question or when something's on your mind and you just would like a second opinion from someone who is grounded, from someone who has integrity and is mature. Next up, we've got these solar flares. Now, group one, in these solar flares, I can see that a year from now, you're actually just going to be meeting one another's family. You're going to get intimate. You're going to get physical. This is something where I can see you're going to take your time with. So your love life a year from now is not centered around just physical pleasure. It is actually centered around the goal of being together for as long as possible. And I see here within the 7th house that we have the universe kind of confirming that, right? Because the 7th house is the house of marriage and partnerships. It corresponds to the sign of Libra by default, and Libra is ruled by Venus. Now, Venus is the planet of affection, attraction, aesthetics, beauty, balance. So do know here within the 7th house being the ruler of Libra by default and Libra being ruled by Venus, that romantically speaking, we're not talking about a meaningless situation being present for you a year from now. A year from now, you will be in a relationship that is a twin flame relationship, a soulmate relationship, one in which you've got this bond that is unbreakable and unshakable. And while this relationship is just in the early stages, you know that you will always be in one another's lives and you will always have one another's backs. That's what I can see here in the 7th house, as well as these solar flares. Next up, we've got Chiron. So within Chiron, we've got this asteroid situation. This is the so-called wounded healer, in case you don't know much about astrology. And this wounded healer is all about healing from past hurts. And I can see here that this situation in your love life is going to help you heal past hurts and past situations that made you feel lesser than, that made you feel like maybe you weren't good enough, maybe you didn't try hard enough. And I see here within the descendant that actually healing that and figuring out exactly what it was that you maybe invited in at a certain time unknowingly. And by that, I mean going through a difficult time romantically and maybe questioning if it was your fault, maybe questioning yourself, your worth, your value. But I see here that you're healing all of that. You're reminding yourself of the fact that if you don't allow yourself to think that you are the problem or something is wrong with you, group number one, then you can rest assured that your self-confidence won't be taken away and that you won't give anyone else power over your confidence as well as your standards and what you're trying to accomplish in your romantic life in the long term. Next up, we've got the meerkat. Group number one in the meerkat, I can see that a year from now, you're getting support from a trusted group of like-minded friends. So people supporting your relationship, but also talking to close friends and family about what's going on in your relationship before they meet the person, just to get a little feel and understanding of what they think, how they think that this person appears to be from the stories you're telling and also photos that you're showing them of your King of Pills person, and just getting a little feel for whether your friends and family think that this person is the one as well or not, because one thing that causes a rift in many relationships is actually not necessarily just stuff that happens in the relationship, but can often be outside influences such as friends and family that aren't approving of the connection. Next up, we've got the blue heron. The blue heron shows me that actually, no matter what, you will make a stand for what you believe in and you will go with whatever feels right in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others. But of course, it is your preference for your friends and family to support this relationship, as it just makes everything a lot easier. So your love life a year from now is very multifaceted, and I see within the tiger that you're being called upon to provide leadership. So trust that you're capable of doing so. A year from now, the relationship is, of course, going to be with someone who has great leadership qualities. We spoke about that in the King of Pills. But in order to not kind of lose yourself during this time and within the relationship, you have to maintain the fact that you've got leadership qualities too, that you're able to make decisions, you're able to be the one who says what they want, what they're going to be okay with and what not, because one thing that your person a year from now finds really attractive is when you're able to stand up for yourself, and no matter the situation and no matter what they are going through or how strong they may be personality wise. Next up, we've got the bobcat spirit. So I can see that a lot is still kind of hidden and veiled, and trust me, group number one, we still have more to get into within your reading. So we'll keep asking Spirit and the universe, don't worry, we're not ending the reading here yet. We're still going to figure out what your love life will be a year from now. We'll talk about things such as children, family, and also work in more detail. And I can see here within the owl spirit that moving from things being a mystery, we're going to see very clearly what your love life will look like a year from now, with just a little bit more patience and a little bit more time asking Spirit as well as your guides. So make sure that you stay here even after I've cleansed and cleared the space and gotten into the next setup for you. So the antelope spirit shows me that life is speeding up, and a year from now everything is going to be moving really quickly. Think of feeling very infatuated with someone and being in that stage in a relationship where everything is lovey-dovey, you're in the honeymoon phase. You're maybe actually doing a lot of things physically in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. Even though your connection runs way deeper than that, you're enjoying lots of fun in that sense too. And I see here within the hawk spirit that you're simply just allowing for the universe to guide you. You're not pushing or forcing anything in your love life a year from now, group number one, as you know that's what's meant to be will be, and anything that is not in alignment with you, your goals, where you're going, outgoing or your personality is most likely not going to stand the test of time. And that's completely fine for you, group number one. You are at peace with that. So please allow for a moment for me to cleanse and clear the space for you. And we'll get into some more details about your love life a year from now. Okay, group number one, let's see what else we've got in regards to your love life a year from now, shall we? We've got trust, recovery, as well as listening to your intuition. Now, group number one, your trust is going to be recovered when it comes to love. So if you've been hurt in the past and your trust was broken and you thought that it was maybe even irreparable, know that a year from now, your love life is actually going to be filled with trust to the point that you feel confident in listening to your intuition again. Because once that trust is broken, you can sometimes start to question your judgment, right? Whether you're trusting people who are even trustworthy, whether your picker is kind of off. But I can see here for you, group number one, that all of that faith in yourself and your capabilities to pick a good partner is going to be restored. So let's move further into it using some runes, shall we? Let's see. Okay, let's identify this little rune right here. We've actually got Lagus, and Lagus corresponds to lakes, water, as well as seas. It's all about flowing and also renewal. So that's one thing that I can see here for you a year from now when it comes to your love life. A great renewal that makes you feel as though your trust has finally been recovered and put in a place where you feel safe again. Next up, let's see what we've got here. I believe this is Awaz. Yes, Awaz corresponds to the horse as well as partnership. So listening to your intuition when it comes to moving forward in partnerships is like your main mode of movement into relationships a year from now. And you're going to just strictly go with your gut feeling. No more reasoning, no more trying to be rational about things. You're simply going to follow your heart on things. Next up, we've got Rido. So right here within Rido, I can definitely see that it's going to be a journey. A year from now, you're not even going to recognize your love life. It's definitely going to be like you're traveling in space and time, and you're ending up in a completely different place. And you would have never expected for things to turn out in this way or for your trust to be restored to the point that you feel this confident. But a year from now, oh, okay, we've also got success. That's one thing that I can see here with the Secret Spring. So this card popped right out of the pile, group number one. I'm not sure if you saw, but the Secret Spring card is a card that not only speaks of success, but you also finding your way in love. Whereas in the Spirit Guardian of Autumn, you're letting go of things that don't serve you, right? And you're recovering and letting go of any type of toxic relationships, manipulative relationships, relationships with people who simply do not make you feel as though they're trustworthy, and maybe they've proven that over and over again, and there's not really any point in staying with anyone like that, group number one, because at the end of the day, if you don't have trust, you don't have anything in a relationship. And if you've got to ask yourself if someone is truly the right one or if you should stay with them, well, I don't need to tell you what the answer is, group number one. You already know it. Next up, we've got the reflecting pool. I see here that a year from now, you're going to be in a situation, romantically speaking, where you have time and space to reflect, where you're not constantly in a fight or flight situation. That can be really hard and stressful for your body too. And just overall, the reflecting pool is not just about stillness, but obviously also about seeing your own worth, just as we have in this reflection right here. As she stares into this body of water, she actually sees that she's a beautiful, elegant swan who is so worthy. So take that type of analogy for yourself and apply it to how you view yourself, group number one. Do you give yourself enough credit? Do you give yourself enough praise on a day-to-day basis? I do see here within the thicket of thorns that uncertainty is something that you're also learning to trust. And by uncertainty, I mean you never truly know if things will work out forever, especially in love, right? Because love is a thing that is between at least two different people, if not more. And in the thicket of thorns, I can see that while you can trust a relationship and a partner and trust that things will work out, at the same time, there will always be a certain level of uncertainty, right? Because after all, things happen. Life has some pretty unpredictable ups and downs, and that's where I can see that you're learning to just simply still stay grounded and still stay in a positive headspace, even though you can't control every facet and aspect of love and life. The Spring Guardian of Summer shows me here that love is expanding. There will be more love within your life a year from now, group number 1. And I do also want you to know within the Spirit Guardian of Summer that you're going to be able to reap the rewards, right? To reap the fruit of your labor and to overall kind of like enjoy all of the hard work that you've put in when it comes to self-development, when it comes to just learning not only yourself but also other people, and ensuring that you're not settling for something that isn't truly making you happy. The Seahorse Spirit is all about giving things time, right? But also not being worried about what is to come next. So giving things time to continue to develop. I can see that a year from now, rather than feeling as though you always need to know what the next step is in a relationship, you're okay with just watching, waiting, and judging people based on their actions, not what they say. Because after all, group number 1, talk is cheap. And what is way more telling about a person is what they do. Anyone can talk a good game, group number 1, and a lot of people do without actually proving that they are walking their talk. So that's where I can see in the Seahorse Spirit that you're not falling for that. You've been in that situation before, but you've learned, you've matured, and it's no longer something that you're okay with. The Dolphin Spirit shows me here that you understand that doesn't make people who talk a good talk bad people. It just simply means that they're not for you. And the Dolphin Spirit is all about this and that being true. So two things being true at once without feeling as though it's hypocrisy. Like on one end of the spectrum, of course, you can be in love with someone who talks a good talk but doesn't walk the talk, but doesn't actually deliver. And that doesn't make them a bad person though, right? There are people who are good people, but they're just not good partners. And then there are people who are maybe good partners, but in the people department, or when it comes to caring for others outside of the relationship, that may not be something that they're so good at. You know, this and that can be true. Someone can be a good person, but then at the same time, they may not be the best partner. Maybe they never learned how to be a good partner. Maybe they are just not as committed as they say that they are. So know here within the Dolphin Spirit that two things can be true at the same time, and sometimes it can feel like a huge contradiction. But after all, life is full of that, and the Bobcat Spirit kind of confirms to you that a lot of things are still going to be a mystery a year from now. It's not like your love life is going to all of a sudden have all its answers to every single question that you've ever had. Of course, there's going to be a lot more clarity and certainty and stability and the recovery of your trust, but a lot of things are also still a mystery. And sometimes that can feel very refreshing when things are mysterious, when things are a little uncertain. It can bring a little bit of passion and spice into a situation. So do know here within the Bobcat Spirit that having mysterious parts to love is definitely what keeps it alive and well. Now, the Ant Spirit here shows me that your love life a year from now is going to be, in a sense, a big collaboration. So maybe you work with the person with whom you're going to be with a year from now. Maybe you're thinking of starting your own business with this person, of going into your own ventures. Either way, it'll be time to collaborate on a project that you're working on where you both have the same goal and where you're being pretty selfless. In case you didn't know that, ants are probably the most selfless, most hardworking creatures on this planet. Literally all ants in a colony are just working to keep the queen alive. That is their only purpose, and they do their job selflessly, even if that means that it ends them. And one thing that I do see within the ant spirit and your love life is that you'll be able to communicate without words with the person with whom you'll be with a year from now. And working on projects is always about the project. You don't allow for any type of petty disagreements to come in between the two of you. Oh, okay, we've got the 12th house as well as the ascendant next for you, group number 1. Let's talk about it, shall we? So one thing that I can see here within the ascendant is that there's kind of something new happening a year from now, and I see that it has to do with your 12th house. Your 12th house is the house of your subconscious, your kind of introspective house, if you will. The main keywords of the 12th house is all about dreaming, believing in yourself, and by default, the 12th house falls into the sign of Pisces, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune, in case you didn't know. Now, Neptune is a planet of imagination, psychic abilities, and also spirituality. So I can see here that a year from now, things are going to be very different when it comes to your spirituality as well as your dreams. You will have rephrased your dreams, and just overall, your whole outlook on spirituality and where you stand with it is going to be very much adjusted in a Pisces type of manner. So being a lot more responsive to other people's pain, being a lot more caring and sympathetic. That's what I can see a year from now. Next up, we've got the transit. Now, the transits show me that it's important for you to also understand that climate change is going to be even more apparent a year from now. For some reason, that is a message that you are meant to receive, and it's going to make you feel like you just want to do more for the world, and you want to kind of protect the world and the nature in connectivity to the ant spirit. It is highly likely that you and the person with whom you'll be with romantically a year from now share that passion for environmentalism, for doing your best in order to live sustainably, and maybe you'll even take part in some different projects that have to do with sustainability. Think joining organizations and different events where climate change is at the forefront and you're speaking about it and you're trying to do your best to help educate other people. I see within Dignified that we've got a lot of strength for you a year from now, group number 1, and what used to get on your nerves in the past no longer phases you. So maybe in the past, if you would kind of try to explain to someone the impact that their habits have on the environment, and they would kind of just react in a way that is like challenging you, but at the same time also kind of rude, that may have hurt you on like a deep level in the past. But a year from now, those types of little petty things don't faze you. You don't really care about them, and you just simply stick to what you're trying to accomplish. You stick to the topic and the goal. You don't allow for anyone to make you waver from that. Next up, we've got the panda. This is one of my favorite animals. In the panda, we've got you creating a sacred space for yourself in your home and or your place of work. So this makes a lot of sense with the person who is that special someone a year from now being someone who you work with. So think of you both creating like a work area that you use in order to kind of move forward on big projects, on things where you're collaborating, maybe your entrepreneurial ventures that you're both thinking of. And the panda shows me a very supportive type of nature when it comes to any lover that may be in your life a year from now. Now, the mountain goat is all about something being out of balance and you needing to do whatever you can in order to correct it. And something being out of balance and doing whatever you can, I see within the transits as well as the thicket of thorns that what you're trying to do in order to course correct is to live more frugally and more environmentally friendly. I see that this ties together beautifully with the transits, the thicket of thorns, and what we spoke about with the environment. You trying to collaborate with other people to do the best that you can to leave this planet in a healthier state than how you found it, because you're understanding more and more a year from now that time really has not been like running out. It has run out, and something needs to be done now. People need to be educated about the impact that their lifestyle has on this planet now. And it's something that you really vibe with your partner. You have the same lifestyle. You live in the same type of manner with the same values, and that is like the core of your connection. Oh, okay. Next up, we've got the tiger and the meerkat. I didn't even realize there that the universe gave us 2 cards at once. Now, the meerkat is all about those like-minded friends supporting you. So a year from now, you'll have all of the support that you need from friends, from family, from other people who share the same thoughts about environmentalism. They love your romantic connection. They're happy for you. And I see here within a tiger that you're kind of going to be the one who is setting a good example when it comes to what a healthy relationship looks like, group number 1, and a lot of people are looking up to you for that. So a year from now, you're definitely like the leader when it comes to relationships, the one who has a successful relationship that is built upon trust and just the recovery of trust, especially if you've ever been betrayed, if you've been through a situation where someone broke your trust, just shows that no matter what happens, you rise like a phoenix from the ashes, group number 1, and you find yourself landing back on your feet. Now, group 1, this is a reading that I received for you about what your love life will look like a year from now. I hope that you enjoyed this tarot reading. Furthermore, if you made it all the way to the end, leave a little panda emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you made it to this point. Furthermore, all of my crystal rings, you know, the blue topaz, the moonstone, let me just show you a little close up. These are all linked. This is all from my new collection. Okay, this is a whole different level of quality. So we've got a citrine, we've got a peridot, as well as a 4-stone amethyst ring. And here we've got the beautiful sky blue topaz, as well as moonstone and little sky blue topaz pieces on the side. And I have so much more crystal jewelry. This stuff, you guys, is like on another level. It's a new collection that just dropped. All of my older collection items are on sale, so feel free to check that out on bowlife.com, as well as, of course, my new oracle deck. So thank you for being here, group number 1. I really appreciate you. Know that I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful souls of group number 2. Vanessa and I here. You chose the Shamanic Medicine Oracle cards, as well as the Black Obsidian crystal, in order to figure out exactly where your love life will be a year from now. So let's first do a close-up of the crystal of your choice. This is the beautiful Black Obsidian crystal. Now, you may have chosen this crystal because, you know, it is absolutely stunning, but maybe also for its protective qualities, as the Black Obsidian is a super detoxifying as well as protective crystal. But now, let's move into your reading to figure out exactly what your love life's going to look like a year from now. So let's get into it. Group number 2. We've got the conch shell as well as buried in earth. So I can see here in the conch shell and buried in earth that there's going to be this sort of transfer of energy that you did not expect. I can see that you're going to receive some sort of phone call from someone where your love life is going to change and be unearthed in a completely unexpected way. So for example, an ex or an admirer calling you up and actually confessing their feelings to you and letting you know exactly where they stand when it comes to you, romantically speaking. And I see that a year from now, you may not necessarily need that or even want that, as we did have the Black Obsidian as the crystal of your choice, which is a protective stone. It's a detoxifying stone, but it is definitely a nice gesture, and you may actually want to consider it. Who knows? Let's move further into your reading to find out more. Next up, we've got the lower world. Now, in the lower world, I can see here that this is someone from your past, group number 2. This is someone who you've already known, but for some reason, things didn't work out but they are trying to rekindle. They're trying to reconnect with you a year from now. And the lower world also shows that they have been watching what you've been doing. They've been trying to stay up to date on your moves on social media, wherever they can kind of get a little glimpse of what's going on in your life. And they have been paying attention in order to be able to make this move before it's too late. Next up, we've got the ancestors. Now, the ancestors shows me here that you don't want to make some of the same mistakes that your ancestors made, or even your parents when it comes to relationships. Now, group number 2, of course, no relationship is perfect, but when you have some cases of separation or divorce around you and just overall relationships that are unhappy, you want to kind of learn from those. Now, that is not something bad to not want to be with someone. Sometimes it is best for everybody involved, because after all, kids and animals and friends and family usually are the ones who suffer the most when people stay with one another unhappily. So sometimes it's best to just go your separate ways. And that's one thing that I can see that you're understanding, and why you may not want to get involved with this person a year from now, because you feel as though this connection is toxic, or may not have any longevity, or may just overall not really be very helpful for the long run. It may not be sustainable. So next up, we've got the Lodge. Now, group 2 in the Lodge, I can see here that you're gonna go and talk to some friends, family. You're gonna sit down with a couple squirrel friends, if you know what I mean, and you're gonna kind of talk to your council, talk to your people, ask them what they think of the situation. And sometimes it's really great to have some other opinions when it comes to these things, so you're not all by yourself and you don't feel as though you're making a mistake. So you can have people who support you and who are telling you how supportive of you that they are, because often that gives you like the little extra push to make big important decisions, or to say no to a situation, romantically speaking, that isn't better than what you're in. So group 2, you're potentially going to be in a relationship a year from now, but we have more to figure out, so don't worry, we'll find out more details. But this is potentially someone who is coming in between you and an existing relationship, or trying to, and you just have to say no to them and remind yourself that the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it, and sometimes working on a good thing that you've already got is better than running away from issues to go back to something toxic that already didn't work out in the past, or that has been difficult. Next up, we've got the Great Mystery. So I do see here that a year from now, your love life is going to be filled with trust and transformation, and also a really kind of brave energy that you've never experienced before. Now, the Lion is all about that bravery. It's all about that generosity when it comes to your heart and your time. You're not afraid of getting hurt, and the butterfly stands for transformation. That's what it's symbolic of. So I see a lot of personal growth that is contributing to your love life a year from now, group number 1. And I just overall also see a lot of maturity and learning from the past, as well as your ancestors and people who came before you, seeing their mistakes and not having to go through them yourself, but kind of learning how to avoid them and to do better. So let's pull a couple runes for you, group number 2, so we can get a little more information from the divine, shall we? These are crystal runes, actually. They are quartz crystal runes, so let's decipher this little guy right here. So within this rune, we've got Manas, which corresponds to the letter M. This rune is all about the self, mankind, culture, friends, and Manas shows that you have the full support of friends and family and your community, because sometimes, especially if there are children involved, a divorce is actually a blessing rather than going through an unhealthy relationship, or one that's maybe even physically dangerous, if you know what I mean. So group number 2, you are being strong, you're learning from those around you, and you understand that even if you were ever in a difficult situation, romantically speaking, they give you their full support rather than feeling like you should stay stuck in a situation just because of tradition or religion. Let's move further into it. Okay, what do we have here? So within this rune, we've got Gebo, which corresponds to the letter G in our alphabet, and Gebo is all about a gift of love, generosity. It can also stand for a partnership or a marriage. So do know here that there's a very trusting relationship that will be in your love life a year from now, group number 2. And someone trying to come and interfere with that is just not something that you're okay with. It's not something that you're going to allow to happen. And you're very protective overall. And you're completely okay with having to potentially reject someone who is interested in you, but with whom you know the relationship may not end up in a sustainable, feasible place. Next up, we've got time to move on. Let's zoom in for you, group number 2. There we go. So it's time for you to move on, to leave them in the past for good, group number 2. You can't go back to exes or people who just simply didn't work out. So moving on completely and just letting them know that once and for all, it's not going to work out and it's not for you is what I can see here within time to move on. Let's see what else we've got. So the 10-90 ratio. I also see here that your love life a year from now is fully in your control. You understand that life is really just 10% what happens to you, but 90% how you handle it, how you deal with it. And whether you just come from a place of love, calmness, or whether you allow for other people to stress you out unnecessarily. So your love life is going to be filled with a lot of learning lessons from now up until the end of the next year, from watching this video to like a year after this. But at the same time, it's going to give you a really good understanding of what to do next in life and what to do next when it comes to love and who you just need to move on from. Next up, we've got these big changes for you. So we've been talking about these changes already, and we've been talking about someone kind of wanting you back or wanting to be in your life again. But I do also see that there's some other big changes coming for you. Within Gabo, we had marriage and partnership, right? We had this kind of generosity thing. So a proposal or even being married a year from now is one thing that I can see for you, group number 2. And this being a huge change to your life in general, because you feel as though you're completely at peace. You feel as though you've made the right decision. Next up, we've got every single step counts, of course. By the way, this is the Wild Muse Oracle deck, group number 2, which I published not long ago. The link to this deck is below. It is so beautiful and vibrant. In every step counts, I can see here that we've got you being connected to the number 22, and you are group number 2. And the number 22 is a master number. It is a number of balance. We've got a scale right here in the 10-90 ratio. So do know here that balance is something that really matters. Even if it's just a very small thing to balance out stress when it comes to your love life, it is so vital and essential for you to do so, right? To not be afraid to, for example, just take a day off to spend with your partner, with your fiance or your husband or wife. It is so essential to do things like movie nights, go to concerts, date each other again. That is one thing that I can see here within every step counts and all of these big changes. And that is what will keep your love life on fire, group number 2. There's passion here, there's a lust, there's a lot going on when it comes to feeling infatuated. So I see a lot of passion as well as infatuation here with on fire. Also, we've got another master number for you, group number 2. Remember how we had the number 22 over here? Well, we've got 44 here with on fire, and I can see that when it comes to your romantic relationships a year from now, the number 4 actually is a number of balance, stability, and just cycles overall being completed. So I can see that a year from now, your love life is going to feel very well-rounded and balanced with the passion, but also stability that you need. Let's move further into your reading, shall we? We've got updates to your system. So group 2, I see here that it's going to be like a complete reboot of your love life and also of how you see romantic relationships. Your love life is going to be pretty different a year from now, and it's going to feel as though you've had all of these updates that made your love life better, right? Because when it comes to these updates to your system, updates are usually here to make things better, whether it's an app, some sort of software on your computer, or just the computer software in itself, right? Usually these types of updates that you get on your phone. They're all meant to improve what's already there. So it's not as though we're throwing away what's already there, group number 2. See this as your love life being better than ever, right? Being the best version that it possibly could be. Next up, we've got confessions. So I can definitely see here that the confessions are, of course, going to go over in a way that feels as though a big weight has been lifted off of this person's chest. They feel as though they've had some sort of relief. Even if you don't reciprocate their feelings, it is very freeing to admit to you how they truly feel about you. Next up, we've got the peacock. And now in the peacock, I can see that a year from now, romantically speaking, you are going to let yourself stand out and be noticed, no matter who feels uncomfortable. So also if there's anything that's kind of a little raunchy or different or kinky when it comes to love and romantic relationships, you're exploring more of that, and you're not allowing for anyone to make you feel as though it's wrong. Next up, we've got the snow leopard. Now, the snow leopard is all about taking some time out of your usual life and spending it in solitude. So this solitude meaning that is a place in which you can also, again, allow yourself to shine, because you're not putting on a performance for anyone. So your love life is going to be really private. As we are talking about your romantic life a year from now, think of it as you and your person being in a private situation, you and your person removing yourselves from the public eye and just sharing amazing private moments together. Next up, we've got the penguin, group number 2. Now, group 2, the penguin stands for the period of darkness that you've been experiencing passing. So if you've been going through a tough time romantically speaking, know that a year from now it's going to be completely different. All of that will have changed, and this dark period is going to be like letting bygones be bygones, group number 2. And it's like it's finally your time to win. It's finally your time to shine and to be able to have a love life that fulfills you in every single aspect. Next up, we've got the unicorn for my beautiful unicorn family. So indulging in your creative, imaginative, and magical side through some form of artistic expression is going to have an impact on your love life. I see here that your partner is going to find you really attractive. The more you indulge in your creative ideas, the more you're kind of looking at your artistic expression and seeing how far you can take it. I see that that is like a total turn on, and a year from now, you're going to feel really confident to pursue passion projects. And that's when you know you're in a great relationship, a healthy one, when you can be honest about the things that you love, the things that you're doing, going after, the things that make you happy, and you don't feel shamed for it by a partner, and you also don't feel as though they're just saying to you, yeah, sure, well, I guess you can try, but not actually believing in you. So that's where I can see that you're being fully embraced and fully held. Next up, we've got the camel. The camel stands for trusting that you have enough resources to get through any challenges before you, especially when it comes to love. I mean, depending on what you're going through, sometimes the challenges can just feel insurmountable. Sometimes it can just seem as though it's never going to end and you're never going to be happy again, and like everything is just going wrong and like you don't know how to carry on with your life. But I want you to know here, group number 2, that it's important for you to know that just as other people through the history of time have gotten through breakups, and think about it, during times where it was maybe really important for two people to join forces in order to be able to even sustain life because there was a lot more manual labor involved. In this day and age, it's actually the easiest time to go your own way and to trust that you have the resources to do it alone if needed. It is the easiest time during the period that us human beings have been here in this form to know that if you're not being treated the way you want to be treated, the next year will be a learning lesson, but you can make it through it. And in the end, you're going to win, group number 2. You're going to be in a position where you know that the darkness has passed and you can shine. You can allow yourself to stand out and be noticed. Group 2. leave a star emoji below in the comment section if you've made it to this point in the video, to let me and others know that you're here and that you're celebrating this, that you're manifesting it. Next up, we've got the octopus. This is actually one of my absolute faves. This is all about practicing shape-shifting by altering your physical appearance and mannerisms. So having fun, dressing up. We did talk about some like raunchy, kinky things when it comes to your romantic life. So I wouldn't be surprised, group number 2, if you had a couple extra little saucy outfits and numbers a year from now that you're okay with shape-shifting in and out of, and that just make your love life feel spontaneous, interesting, and even more passionate. So there is a reason why your love life is gonna be this kind of pit of infatuation, if you will. Then we've got the cardinal. Now in the cardinal, I can see that the polarities of your spiritual pursuits and the physical pleasures are kind of out of balance a year from now. So whatever is necessary to bring them back to an equilibrium is what you need to do. So polarity of spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures means that you're kind of maybe a little much indulged in the physical world, in the material realm a year from now. And that may be for a specific reason, such as a promotion, starting your own business, or if you're just in that honeymoon phase with someone, whether that is because you're with a new person, or you just got engaged, or just got married, or just split up or got divorced, whatever your honeymoon phase is, group number 2, do know here within the cardinal that coming back to your spiritual roots is really important, to not forget that. But of course, it's easier said than done. So it's just a little tip from your guides. So group 2, I will now proceed to clear the space for you and continue on within your reading so we can figure out more details about your love life a year from now. Okay, group number 2, let's move further into your love life a year from now, shall we? I'm so excited to figure out more nitty-gritty details. Oh, okay, the 10 of Cups right off the bat, group number 2. Now, the 10 of Cups, in case you didn't know, is one of the most favorable cards when it comes to love in the tarot. The 10 of Cups speaks of fulfillment. It is a card that shows that there is happiness, there is trust, and also that family bonds are really strengthened and there is peace. So a year from now, you're not going to really want for anything romantically speaking, and you feel as though your family, whether that is just you and a romantic partner, or you and a romantic partner and a pet or a kid or extended family, you feel as though all of that is blending beautifully and it's working out in your favor, the way that you always wanted it to be. Next up, we've got the Empress. The Empress is definitely a card that is an indication of a pregnancy or just overall having a very healthy, intimate life. We spoke about that earlier, group number 2. So when it comes to the whole intimate part, you've got that down a year from now. But I can see here within these tattoo tarot cards that in the Empress, there is also a pregnancy around you, either affecting you directly or closely related to you, group number 2. And that also adds to this feeling of strong family ties and a very strong family bond, and overall just feeling really happy and blissful about what's going on within your love life. Let's move further into your reading though. We've got the 9 of Wands next. Now the 9 of Wands is definitely a card of perseverance. I see that regardless of how amazing your love life may be or look like a year from now, you're still kind of very dedicated to what's next, to the vision, the goals that you've always had, group number 2. And you're not going to put that aside no matter how great things are looking. So it's like you're not resting on your laurels, so to say, and you continue to remain ambitious. Ooh, okay, I see that here in the 9 of Coins as well as the 6 of Swords. So the 9 of Coins is an indication of financial stability, and that makes a lot of sense here in connectivity to the 10 of Cups, because through discipline as well as refining your skills, you have been able to also create financial stability stability, which adds to a very chill, relaxed, peaceful feeling when it comes to your family setup, right? Whether it be the family that you're choosing and creating, or also the people around you, those closest to you, who you maybe wouldn't consider like your family, right? Who are more like an extension, or parents, for example. So I see that everything is kind of culminating in an amazing way for you, group 2. And the Six of Swords shows me that it was definitely a journey from maybe even feeling a bit like the victim, feeling like you weren't sure what was going on in your life, but just overall you weren't quite satisfied, to feeling gratitude for as many things as you possibly can, and understanding that the more you're able to do that, the more things that you really desire come to you. Next up, we've got the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups here shows me that there is this person, a king of water signs, as the suit corresponds to the element of water, so think Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancerian. And the king shows me that they're most likely older. They're most likely someone who has a great deal of experience in life already. They've been through a lot, but that hasn't hardened them. That hasn't made them someone who doesn't like to share their feelings or show emotions. Actually, quite the contrary. It has strengthened them to be super empathetic as well as caring. They're also a very wise person, a diplomatic, calm, and caring type of human being. And I see here that they are impacting your love life during this next year. So it makes a lot of sense what's going on here and what's happening when it comes to your relationship. The King of Cups is definitely someone who puts a lot of value in the emotional realm, and that being fulfilled shows us here that this person is most likely going to play a pivotal role when it comes to your relationship status. Next up, we've got the Two of Coins. So you're balancing work, but also your personal life. And I can see here that when it comes to balancing this, group number 2, you're doing a great job. You're juggling the two. You're being very flexible. And just overall, this definitely shows that you are the type of person who is able to manage their tasks in life. You've got a good head on your shoulders, and that is something you should value. That is something that you shouldn't just give to anyone, group number 2. So whenever you are in doubt, make sure that you remind yourself of your worth, your value, all of the things that you're so good at that a lot of people wish that they had more of in their life. So I will move into your readings with a bit more charms as well, group number 2. So I hope you're looking forward to that. I hope you're still just vibing, chilling, relaxing, listening to your love life a year from now as we get further and deeper into your reading as Spirit reveals even more to us. Next up, we've got the Badger Spirit. You're being very fearless and bold. I want to see what area of life that would be in. We've got the Star. So let me just zoom in for you, group number 2, as I want to make sure you can see this. There we go. So we've got the Star, and I want you to know here that the Star not only stands for the obvious stardom, but also things that you're very hopeful of, but you're not sure of. So maybe you've been hopeful to start your own business or to do something that you don't really know how it's going to go, and you're not really sure what's going to happen. But I can see here within the Badger Spirit that a year from now, you're going to be able to just boldly do it, boldly go for it. Next up, we've got the Sandpiper Spirit. I see that having a relationship by your side and being in a relationship that is really playful and fun and that allows you to kind of just be yourself is probably the best thing that could have happened to you when it comes to being fearless and bold, because you're not afraid of hurting someone or putting someone off or anything like that. You're very much just focused on having fun as well as going for it, right? Getting out of your comfort zone. Next up, we've got the Hawk Spirit. Now, the Hawk Spirit shows me here that you definitely also want for Spirit to be your guide a year from now. It's not as though, oh, everything's figured out and everything is going well, and now you can just forget about, you know, your spirituality and mindfulness and practicing gratitude daily. No. In the Hawk Spirit, I can see here that you're all about allowing even more of of the wisdom from the universe, from your subconscious and your intuition in. And rather than just putting things off and just saying, oh, it's just a coincidence, you're actually reading more into it and understanding that a lot of things that we call coincidences aren't actually necessarily real coincidences. Sometimes things just happen that we can't explain. Just think about it. A couple hundred years ago, people may have thought that weather was just a coincidence, but today we found different ways how we can predict the weather pretty accurately, right? So do keep in mind here that things that we currently call coincidences may actually be pretty predictable, and some things may forever be inexplicable but are still meaningful and not necessarily coincidences. So you're not crazy, group number 2. There are layers to this thing. Next up, we've got the skunk spirit. Now, the skunk spirit shows me that this is all about knowing your worth a year from now, and you're pulling some moves that just show that you value yourself. You respect yourself, group number 2, and that is beautiful to see, to read within your prediction. Let's see what area specifically when it comes to love you're knowing your worth in. Oh, okay, we've got this little anchor kind of situation going on here. So I can see that you know your worth when it comes to stability. You know your worth to not be with someone who isn't giving you clear answers where you need clear answers, especially if you've been in the connection for a while and someone is just kind of dancing around important questions like when you want to get married, settle down, move in together, what this relationship even means, how to define it. No, group number 2. You know your worth, and you know that you're deserving of being able to just throw your anchor out and to just chill in one spot and know that you've got your person. You don't have to worry about them being with someone else. Next up, we've got the whale spirit. This is honestly one of my favorite cards of this spirit animal oracle deck. And this is by Colette Baron Reed, by the way, for any of you who love this deck and want to purchase it too. Totally worth it. So the whale spirit is all about trusting in not knowing everything and not knowing what some coincidences mean, but at the same time, just having faith that it's going to work out and trusting in these coincidences being coincidences that are positive for you. So let's see what area of life that these have to do with. So we've got a reindeer as well as a little clam type thing here. I want to like zoom in for you, okay, there we go, group number 2. So in the reindeer, I can definitely see you having these leadership qualities when it comes to emotions. And I see that the area of your life in which you're trusting your intuition is definitely when it comes to your emotions. If you don't feel as though someone is really valuing you or knowing your worth, like we spoke about here in the skunk spirit, you are going to remove yourself from the situation after maybe explaining it, but you're not going to give them a million chances to kind of play with your heart or continue to show you that they don't value you, because then you are, of course, continuing that energy and that cycle, that pattern within your life, which is, of course, not the healthiest for you. We've also got the chameleon spirit as well as the bee spirit. So a year from now, romantically speaking, I can see that everything is blending in really well. So whether you are with a group of friends who are single or you're with other couples, I can see in the chameleon spirit that your relationship is never like awkward, right? If there is someone who is single who is hanging out with you and the person who you're with, your little King of Cups situation, they don't feel like they're third wheeling. They actually really feel as though they're included. They don't feel like it's awkward. And the same goes for hanging out with other couples. I can see here that that just goes fabulously well. And when you're in a relationship where you get along well with the outside world, where you really kind of feel as though your partner is never a hindrance, but actually like a little connecting piece to other people, that is a really healthy situation to be in. But let's move a little further into it. Oh, okay, we've got Cancer. Now, group number 2, we spoke about the King of Cups, remember, the King of Water signs. Now we've got Cancer, which is obviously a water sign. And I want you to know here within Cancer that this is a symbol of not only emotions, but also immersing yourself 100% in a relationship. And Cancer being ruled by the moon means that there is a lot of sensitivity, a lot of nurturing energy that is around you, and this really lets you thrive. Now, whether you too are a Cancer and you can just so relate to this group number 2, and that's why this reading spoke to you and the Black Obsidian called you into this position, or you're another sign who just really needs that closeness, that nurturing, that empathy, do know here that a year from now you're going to have that in your life, and it's going to have a super positive impact on you and your life as a whole. Next up, we've got the Death card. Now, don't panic, group number 2. The Death card does not mean actual literal death. The Death card is a card of transformation, of getting rid of the old and bringing in the new. And that is what I can see here in the Death card for you. And it makes complete sense with what we've seen so far. Furthermore, we've got the Ace of Wands. So new passionate beginnings, as the ace always represents a new beginning. So if you're learning tarot or you're interested in tarot or numerology, bear that in mind, group number 2. An ace always resonates with a fresh beginning. I can see more confidence coming as soon as you get rid of the old, because when the old doesn't really serve you, of course, being confident when you've gotten rid of energies and people who don't serve you or who don't respect you, that's going to immediately make you feel so much better about yourself. I see here within the Page of Swords that there is also like a friend or family member who is younger than you, who's an air sign. So think an Aquarius, a Libra, or for example, a Gemini. They are very social. They are most likely a lot more extroverted than you are. And in the Page of Swords, I can see that they're younger, they're a little bit more naive, but nevertheless, being around their energy can be like therapy because they just always bring so much of it to the table. And I see here within the Knight of Pentacles that they're kind of giving you advice about a relationship that they've been in, okay? So they were in a relationship with the Knight of Pentacles, and they're using that information and that knowledge that they've had in order to kind of reassure you that you're doing the right thing. And you may not be able to relate 100% to your friend's story, or maybe you feel as though, well, you know, you're a lot younger or a lot less experienced than me and all the things that I've gone through, but nevertheless you really appreciate the sweet gesture of them trying to make their story relatable and help you out of a rut. Next up, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles shows me that a year from now, projects are going to be very important to you. You will have put a lot of heart and soul into projects at work, which is why balancing work and your personal life is important. But I can see that a lot of love that has been created in your personal life kind of slips into what's happening here for you professionally as well. Let's see what we've got next. We've got the Four of Cups. Now, the Four of Cups does also show me here that to a certain extent, some people are missing being able to spend more time with you. And I see here with the Queen of Pentacles that those people feel as though you're spending so much time working and not enough time having fun. But group 2, you can't help it if you're driven or if you're doing stuff that you love, it doesn't really feel like work, and other people may not be able to relate as well. The star shows me here that a year from now, it's just the beginning. There's still so much hope on the horizon for amazing changes to come your way, for amazing things to happen in your love life, in your private relationships, just in life in general. Group number 2, and I see here within the Ten of Wands that it's time for you to start something completely new a year from now when it comes to your life. You've gotten everything that you could out of the situations up until a year from now, and sometimes when you've got so much on your back, you just need to like let it fall and start afresh with the Ace and just let a new beginning in. So group number 2, how did you like your reading? I hope that you enjoyed it. If you made it to the end of this second part, leave a little Cancer, a little crab emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know. Furthermore, all of my crystal rings, yes, the citron, the blue topaz, It's all linked below in the description box. This is a new super luxe and beautiful collection that I have dropped. The quality of this is really outstanding. And for any special request sizing, please feel free to email us at contact@bowlife.com. That's my brand and my company. Also, if you like any of these pieces in silver, they can be custom made. So all of my beautiful souls of group number 2, thank you for spending this divine time and space with me. I cannot thank you enough for being here. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Daily Crystal Inspiration Oracle deck, as well as the Amazonite crystal, in order to figure out exactly what your love life is going to look like a year from now. Let's first do a little close-up of the Amazonite for you so you can get acquainted with its energy and vibrations. So the Amazonite is a super calming type of stone. It helps you find that inner peace, tranquility, and just your personal center, your personal equilibrium, really. So let's get into your reading so we can figure out exactly what your love life will be like 1 year from now. So we've got the Lemurian quartz group number 3, the Celestite, as well as the Iolite. So I do see here within the Lemurian quartz that being a lot more patient than you've ever been because you feel so chill and relaxed, like we can see here within the Celestite, but also with the Amazonite, we spoke about that calm demeanor, right? That tranquility. And that's one thing that I can see here that is reoccurring throughout this year and that you're slowly going to learn more of. Next up, we've also got in the Iolite the fact that your financial IQ is going to increase. And a year from now, your mindset about money and finances and all of those things is going to be completely revamped when it comes to your love life. So you're not going to be with the type of person who is showboaty, who puts everything that they own out there, as we've got the Lemurian quartz and Celestite, which shows sophistication rather than trying to gain attention. So the Iolite also shows me here that just being on the same page with someone who you're romantically with or who is a potential romantic partner is so important. And there's no more putting that on the back burner. You understand that in order to have a successful relationship or connection, there are just some things where you've got to be on the same page. Oh, okay, we've got the red jasper. So while we were speaking about tranquility and calmness and also just a very chill type of demeanor, the red jasper shows me that nevertheless, a year from now, your love life is going to be full of action and you're going to be the one taking the action. So you are the initiator. You are the one who's kind of saying what they want, right? And allowing for the person who you're with to figure out how they're going to make it happen. So you're not afraid to put your thoughts out there. You're not afraid to say what it is that you're looking for, romantically speaking. And I can see here in the Black Kyanite that all of that has to do with boundaries and self-respect. Now, in the past, you may have tried to be, the chill person who kind of just went along with anything or who was okay with doing things super spontaneously. But you may have then also opened yourself up to some people who literally just called you up when they didn't have anything better to do or who didn't want to make sufficient plans to show you how important and worthy that you truly are. And I see that boundaries are being set in a way that is not possible anymore, group number 3. A year from now, you're not going to be anyone's backup plan. You're not going to be anyone's first alternate. And no, you are all about taking action and ensuring that you are in first place with anyone who you put in first place as well. I mean, it's only fair, group number 3. Next up, we've got the Knave of Coins. The Knave of Coins is the Knave of Earth, so to say, as the suit of coins corresponds to the element of Earth. And I want you to know here that a year from now, there is someone who is very hardworking and determined that has a romantic impact on your life. And I see here with the red jasper and the Lemurian quartz that they are taking action. Okay, so asking you out, trying to make things happen between the two of you while also being patient and giving you your time whenever you need it. So the Knave of Coins is an indication of someone who is a Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo having an important impact on your romantic life, group number 3. Let's get into some more details. We've got the 7 of Swords. So this is someone who has been through a lot, romantically speaking. They were with someone who backstabbed them, who kind of threw their loyalty in the trash, so to say, group number 3, and they have learned their lesson, and they're no longer gonna kind of check for that type of person, right? And they are no longer gonna allow anything to be up to chance, and also especially business related things, because the Knave of Coins is someone who is very much interested in the earthly realms, the material realms, and they are not doing anything without a contract. They aren't doing anything with reading the fine print. That's one thing that I see here. Next up, we've got the Empress. Now, the Empress shows me that you've got a side to you that is not only attractive, but also shows a lot of fertility. And I see that that's maybe also why the Knave of Coins is very protective, because they see a long-term future with you. They see a situation in which you're maybe solidifying the relationship by getting married, having children, things like that. And in the Empress, I can see that they know you're strong on your own. They know that you have your own leadership qualities, but they just feel like, why put you out there to be resilient when they can also be protective and be there for you? Ooh, the 2 of Cups is one of the most favorable cards when it comes to the tarot and love. Now, the Suit of Cups corresponds to your emotions, everything that's going on the inside, those warm, fuzzy feelings, group number 3. And the 2 of Cups is also an indication of love, romantic love, a soulmate connection, a relationship that is based on mutual attraction and respect. So seeing that show up within your reading is definitely a very positive sign, and shows that a year from now you're most likely going to be with the person you're meant to be with, group 3. Next up, we've got the Sodalite. Now, the Sodalite shows me that you're speaking your truth, and the more real and honest you are, the more your person just loves it. They don't like anyone who just makes themselves out to be something that they're not, and the Sodalite is definitely not only about you speaking your truth, but just honesty in the relationship in general. In the Selenite, I can see you clearing out any clutter, so getting rid of phone numbers, pictures, just different things of past connections that you may have thought would turn into something, but turned out to not really value you the way you wanted to. You know what I mean, group number 3? Like when you've got screenshots of people who you've been seeing, or screenshots of conversations, and you're getting rid of that for good. Because at this point, it's just clutter, right? At this point, you've got someone else. You don't need to be reminded of the fact that there was ever anyone who didn't make you feel like you were special, or who didn't put you in that pole position where you were first in line. Next up, we've got the Labradorite. A year from now, you're going to see the magic in love again. Now, group number 3, if you have been hurt or been in a really difficult romantic situation and you gave up on love a little bit, know here that a year from now, things are going to feel very different. And that could be hard to imagine at this point in time, because, well, if you're feeling like you've given up on love, obviously your feelings aren't too fond towards it and you don't really trust it. But I can see here in the Labradorite that you'll see the magic and the hype about love a year from now again, and that's definitely going to give you the confidence you need to move forward, not being afraid at every turn and corner, and as the Wild Muse Oracle deck states, trusting your intuition, group 3. By the way, this is the Oracle deck that I just published a couple weeks ago. Is it even a couple weeks ago? Group number 3, the link is below in the description box. It, of course, ships worldwide. It comes in a beautiful collector's box with a hardcover guidebook, but you can see that all in the product description. And it also comes with a custom velvet pouch that the entire deck is wrapped in. So it is 100% unique. It is such a luxurious feeling deck, from the opening process to utilizing the cards. They're just so soft and satiny. It's like you can't really compare it. So let's move further into your reading, group number 3. We've got the day you plant the seed. So I can see here that One thing about a year from now that you're noticing is that it really is true with what people say. The day you plant the seed is not the day where you harvest the crop, where you're able to truly enjoy all of the fruit of your labor. It takes a little bit of time, and the same thing goes with love. You cannot expect for the first day that you try to implement things that are very positive, that will put your love life in a healthy direction, for it to all of a sudden be a fairy tale in just a couple hours, group number 3. But bear in mind here that you're in it for the long run, right? This is all about delayed gratification. So don't question yourself. Remember that the day you plant the seed is not the day that you reap the rewards and the benefits. It needs a little bit of time to grow. You need to water the seed. You need to give it sunlight and air, and just simply be patient. Next up, we've got beauty sleep. So I see that a year from now, there are some interesting things happening in the bedroom, but a lot of sleeping too. So your connection is not just a physical one. It's actually one where you feel safe, where you feel like you can sleep next to this person without needing to worry, especially if you're someone who is a little afraid in the dark or of being alone. I can see that this person gives you peace of mind. There are no nightmares, there's no insomnia. Your love life is allowing for you to actually get some restful beauty sleep. Next up, we've got There's Always a Way. Now, group 3. When it comes to love winning and just kind of following through on what it is that you want with love and not settling for less, bear in mind here that there's always a way. If you really want something, there's absolutely no reason why it can't work or why it cannot become a reality. And that's one thing that I see that you're learning a year from now, and that really comes to show, especially in connectivity to the day you plant the seed, because you're realizing that a lot of things that you wanted and maybe weren't sure whether they would come to fruition or not are actually finally materializing. So I've got some runes in here, and I want to select some of these to figure out more information for you, group number 3. So let's get into these beautiful crystal runes. Oh, okay. Got one that popped right out. Let's identify this, shall we? And zoom in for you. So here within this rune, we've got Vunyo, which corresponds to the letter V or W. And this is a rune of joy and success. This is a rune that shows your love life is actually moving into a beautiful space a year from now. But I'll actually put it over here by the Two of Cups, as the Two of Cups is really that card in the tarot that speaks of fulfillment, romantically speaking, respect, mutual adoration, and just a situation that is very favorable, that suits you well. Okay, what else do we have here? Within this rune, we've got Pertho. So in Pertho, which corresponds to the letter P, I can see that there is still a certain element of magic and mystery here, and I'll put that right here by the labradorite as well as the Knave of Coins. So while this person is very transparent and real about their feelings for you, the labradorite does also show us with Pertho that there is still mystery there, okay? So it's not like this person is just swooning over you every second, and there is absolutely no element of kind of excitement or mystery at all. There is definitely some really special magic in the air here, and I do see that this is something that not only suits you, but also this person who you're meant to be with a year from now is really in love with. That's what they love most about the relationship, is that there are so many facets to it. Next up, we've got Boss Up. So you are pulling some power moves, group number 3. You're not allowing for anyone to get in the way of what you're doing, of you bossing up, of you being your own person. And I want you to know here within Boss Up that this shows very authoritative, reliable and self-assured type of energy, and not everyone can deal with that, group number 3. Some people whose insecurities are kind of still in the works will find it very hard to be with someone who is confident, who knows what they want. So beware of that. And also when it comes to friends, sometimes You've got relationships in your life where you can't explain why, but everything feels like a competition. And that can be very strenuous on just you emotionally speaking. So staying away from that, yes. Okay, Wild Muse Oracle deck, bringing us the truth bombs. Disconnecting from that is what comes next, pulling the plug from that. I see that a year from now, you're not really tolerating anyone who tolerates your success. You only want to be around people who really want to see you win and thrive and be a boss, and who are here for the journey, who understand that you're not in over your head. You've got a lot ahead of you, a lot of potential still that you haven't even tapped into, that you don't even realize of yourself. And you want to surround yourself with people who are supportive of that journey, people who are encouraging of it, who want to see you win, and who definitely believe in themselves too, and can bring that type of energy to you, that type of, well, why not energy? Why not try this crazy business idea? Why not put yourself first? That's one thing that I can see. Next up, we've got the gorilla. Now, the gorilla is about taking time to listen compassionately to those you love, especially family members. So a year from now, there is going to be this reverse situation where maybe right now, romantically speaking, someone else in your family and close circle is in a good space, but a year from now, they're going to need your help. They're going to need a shoulder to lean on. They're going to want to speak to you about what they're going through, and they're going to need compassion. They're going to need someone who simply listens to them in a judgment-free type of way. Next up, we've got the chimpanzee. We've got all these primates. That's very interesting. I see here within using your intuition and your intellect, you can solve any type of difficult situation. And romantically speaking, that's how you can get to the bottom of anything fishy as well, right? Your intuition is really important. After all, there are so many people who get to the bottom of romantic mysteries, such as whether the person you're interested in is seeing someone else or what's coming next for your relationship. You will have to use your gut feeling and your intuition, as well as avoid not taking red flags into consideration. So that is one thing that I can see you bossing up in. That's been a journey, but a year from now, you will have taken it to the next level. You'll be like a little detective, group number 3, if you aren't already, and just kind of improving your skills when it comes to that, and you'll be able to apply that to your romantic life. Now, group number 3, leave a little teddy bear emoji like we've got over here in Beauty Sleep below in the comment section to let me and others know that you made it to this point in your reading. And now please allow for me to clear the space so we can move into a little more detail about what your love life is going to look like a year from now, because after all, we really want to go in depth here. So I'll be right back with you in a second. Hello, group number 3. As you can see, your space is cleared and we're ready to go into part 2 of your love life reading about everything that's happening in your love life a year from now. So let's get into it so we can figure out more of the details, shall we? I hope that you enjoyed part 1, that you're still feeling really relaxed, really chill, because that's the point of these videos and of you spending time in this magical place. So first up, we've got the butterfly spirit. We also do have the unicorn, as well as the dragonfly spirit. Let's talk about the butterfly spirit, though. So your love life is going to undergo a transformation, and this transformation has everything to do with purity, with starting your love life off on a completely pure and new page, and not feeling as though you're dragging some of the old skeletons that you had in your closet along with you. Furthermore, in the dragonfly spirit, we've got this notion of change, which moves beautifully with the butterfly spirit that speaks of transformation, right? This just shows that a year from now, your love life is going to be completely different to what it is right now, group number 3, and that overall it is going to feel as though everything has returned back to innocence. No ulterior motives, no kind of like side flings or things going on. Everything is very clear, very pure, and also very well intentioned. Moving further into your reading, reading, we've got the hummingbird spirit. Now, the hummingbird spirit is a bird of joy. It signifies having a good time. It signifies being in a space where everything that's going on in your love life is adding to your happiness, not subtracting from it. All of my beautiful souls of group number 3. Next up, we've got the Wizard of the Woods. Now, in the Wizard of the Woods, I can see here that the focus lies on purity. The focus lies on being happy, of course, the transformation, and also continuing to push these positive transformations as much as possible. You are not interested in being in a situation or relationship where being stagnant is okay or even encouraged by your partner. You want to ensure that you're in a situation where you're being encouraged to grow and to better yourself constantly. Next up, we've got the Enchanted Fern Grotto. Let's just zoom in for you. There we go. In the Enchanted Fern Grotto, I can see here that it's a safe space, really, your love life a year from now. So especially if you're going through a difficult time when it comes to your career and your professional life, you've got a space here in your love life a year from now where you feel as though your love life is like a safe space. Your love life is a place you can come to where you find support, understanding, and someone who really gets you, that isn't going to judge you and also push you forward, no matter how difficult the situation may be in some other areas of your life. Next up, we've got the sun as well as the star. Now, one thing that I can see here within the sun is that the bliss continues, not just from the hummingbird spirit, but it also radiates from the sun. The sun is actually one of the most favorable cards in the tarot, and the sun is a card that corresponds to enlightenment as well as greatness, and obviously the sun as a planet. In the star, I can see here that we've got a nice contrast. Once we've got the warmth and the radiant energy of the daylight, and in the star we have kind of nighttime and only being able to see these beautiful celestial bodies when it's dark, right? When we don't have the sun present. So that is one thing that I can see here so far, and it definitely shows that no matter what situation you're in, whether it is a daytime or nighttime, your love life a year from now has all of the benefits that you need. So maybe during the day, it is support with work, and it is support with everything that typically happens during the day. And with the star, we have feeling togetherness, feeling love, feeling appreciation at nighttime, not feeling as though you're going to bed next to a stranger or like you're in a situation where you feel alone. Next up, we've got the 10 of Swords as well as the 6 of Cups. So in the 10 of Swords, I can see that a year from now, when it comes to your love life, there's definitely a part of you that feels as though you made the right choice, but you're very exhausted. You're ready to just kind of have a little bit more of a chill time, to not have to overthink love and everything that you've been through, and also to not have to talk to the same people that were there when you were going through tough times. Group number 3, do you know how, like, when you go through a difficult time in life and certain people make comments that are very insensitive, if it is ever brought up later down the line, that same topic, and those people continue to make insensitive comments, it's almost like it brings you back energetically to the place where you were that was so harmful, right? Where it was so detrimental for you to hear those things in the first place. Next up, we've got the 6 of Cups. Now, the 6 of Cups, it does show me a lot of generosity here. It shows me that you're kind of in a space where you're willing to share and give to those who fill up your cup as well. But anyone who has a bit of a sharp tongue and simply doesn't know how to be soft-spoken and use their words wisely, those are not the type of people with whom you're going to hang out with a year from now. Next up, we've got the 7 of Swords. Be prepared for some of these people who you're leaving behind to talk badly about you and your relationship, group number 3. As you know, I strive to just always give you very clear, honest, straightforward messages. So if that's what you love, then this channel is perfect for you. But if you want someone who always tells you what you want to hear, then this may be difficult, but I want you guys to feel prepared. I want you guys to know what awaits you. So in the 7 of Swords, I do definitely see that there is this part where you already saw it coming. You already knew that some of these people who spoke badly about you, who they were, and the fact that they've done this to so many other people, and you knew that you wouldn't be an exception. Nevertheless, it is disappointing, but it just kind of confirms that you're taking distance from the right people and that it was the right choice for you. Next up, we've got the Tower. Now, in the Tower, I can see here that a lot of things are going to be built from the ground up again. So whether that is the relationship as a whole, trust, love, even the sensual and sexual chemistry, I see here for you in the Tower that the change is coming in the sense of feeling like you're a lot more assertive. Furthermore, the Tower of the major arcana corresponds to Mars, and Mars is actually a planet of a little bit of aggressiveness too, right? We spoke about being assertive, but Mars is also about being aggressive, being independent, being pioneering. And here within the Tower, I can definitely see that being aggressive is a part of your approach, romantically speaking. And for some reason, it was necessary. And for some reason, this is happening a year from now. And maybe you're also just finally finding someone who is completely okay with you having a strong personality and you feel as though you can really embrace it, group number 3. Either way, this is actually a favorable situation for you. I see that this is a situation in which you can truly be yourself, no matter the case, and your partner will not feel intimidated. Let's see what we've got next. We've got your Jar of Dreams. So I can see here, group number 3, that your love life a year from now is going to entail a lot of these things that you dreamt of that you never knew would actually become a reality, but it's finally here, and it's almost as though it was meant to be. Like you put it on a goal board, and now you've finally gotten to a point where you can see some of these results, and you're understanding that, of course, it is a journey, right? This Jar of Dreams situation where goals are finally coming to fruition, romantically speaking, it's not something that happens from one day to the next, but you're also kind of understanding that part of what makes life so interesting and so fun is the journey. It is the different experiences, whether it is heartache, heartbreak, happiness, love, infatuation, romance. All of these things give life layers and different facets, because after all, if there wasn't a thing as being in love and infatuated by someone, then there also wouldn't be such a thing as heartbreak. Just imagine if you couldn't feel love or strongly about someone in a positive sense because heartbreak doesn't exist, right? The negative version of it doesn't exist. Would we really want to give up feeling in order to avoid pain, or do we just take the good with the bad and know that as bad as things can get, that means that there is a counterpart that is just as amazing that you have access to? And of course, life has its difficult moments and its challenges, but again, you can overcome this by reminding yourself that on your personal journey, you will encounter all of these different situations, and that in itself, even if there is a challenging situation, is something that proves that there is a light side. There is a side that is beautiful, that is effortless, and where you feel completely held. I can see here within rehabilitation, as well as updates to your system, that you're spending a lot of time kind of chilling, but maybe also in the bedroom, if you know what I mean, group number 3, a year from now. And furthermore, here in updates to your system, one thing that I can also see for you a year from now, romantically speaking, is that overall the updates that are taking place, the updates to your system, right, group number 3, are really positive ones that help you be on your A game, romantically speaking. So you're not afraid of being nude in front of another person, for example. You're not afraid of showing your deepest desires, and just overall, you're in a space where you're feeling very extroverted and you are the best, most confident version of yourself, really. Next up, we've got Upside Down. Now, Upside Down here shows me that you're seeing things from a completely different perspective, group number 3. With your love life no longer being the same, you are reflecting on some past relationships and past situationships and connections, as well as connections that you see around you, your parents' marriages, your friends' relationships, peers that you see kind of taking steps forward or ending relationships, going their own way, whatever the situationship may be. I can see that through all of the experiences that you've been through, you are so non-judgmental a year from now. You can tell that these experiences shape you. They make you someone who is a lot more open-minded. You become someone who understands that, well, you know, things happen and they can happen to anyone, and it's completely okay for you to change your opinion. It doesn't make you a hypocrite. It doesn't make you a bad person or partner. That is your right, group number 3, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if that means that you need to exert this personal right, you will, because you're seeing the big picture. You're seeing how multifaceted that love can be for all of us, and you're seeing the beauty in it all, and how at the end of the day we can always support one another and thank one another for the relationships that we had and be happy for each other, whether things work out or whether we go separate ways, and knowing that we're all learning. And the best thing we can do for one another is to be in a situation where we feel as though we are maintaining our integrity and our self-respect, no matter what that may look like. Now, group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know below in the comment section. Leave a sunflower emoji down there to let me and others know that you made it all the way to this point. Furthermore, make sure that you check out my website, bowlife.com, if you're interested in any of these crystal rings. These are real crystals. We've got lots of different ones. Like here we've got citrine, the sky blue topaz. Oh, let's do a little close up. There we go. A moonstone. Then over here on this hand, we've got 2 crystal rings with amethyst, as well as a peridot one. There's so many different styles that I've added. These are all new, super luxurious, high-end pieces, and I hope that you enjoy them, because as you guys know, I'm constantly bringing updates to all of my channels, whether that be my social media or my online business. Now, group 3, thank you so much for being here and for spending this time with me. I wish you a magical, beautiful day or night wherever you are, and I'll speak to you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading about your love life a year from now. I'm so excited to get into your tarot and oracle card prediction. You chose the Wild Muse Oracle deck, which I just recently published, and I can't wait to work within this video with you, as well as the Pyrite crystal. Let's first do a close-up of the crystal of your choice. This is the stunning Pyrite. This is also known as the Fool's Gold, group number 4. Now, the Fool's Gold is a crystal that is set to bring abundance as well as good fortune into your life. So if you're looking to add that, make sure that you sprinkle a little bit of pyrite into your crystal collection. But now let's get into your readings so we can oh, okay, we already have a few cards that want to speak. Let's get into your reading so we can figure out exactly what's coming towards your love life a year from now. So we've got Murky Waters, Sacrifices, Becoming Nobody, as well as On Fire. Becoming Nobody was actually modeled after a video that I made here on my channel. That was the inspiration for this card of the Wild Muse Oracle deck, and it's all about kind of rewriting the script, starting with a blank slate and not feeling as though you are trying so hard to be someone that you're not. So I can see that a year from now, your love life is definitely embracing you in all your authenticity, and you're not worried about what your love life looks like or what it's supposed to be. You're simply focused on what feels good, and also on how you can make sure that you are happy with your love life. Not society, and not any types of traditions that you're trying to please. I do see here in On Fire that is actually really reigniting a spark that has been dimmed for a while, right? Because I do see here within Sacrifices and Murky Waters that aside from finally freeing yourself from constraints that you may have had, which may have been societal or religious, you also know here that as soon as you're able to do that, your love life can be what you've always dreamt of it being, but you must be unafraid to just do what's right for you, even if it goes against the grain. I see that a year from now you will have made some sacrifices that you weren't sure of, but in the end, they will have paid out. So whether that is leaving a relationship that by societal standards or by your traditions you're not supposed to do, but you do it anyway to pursue happiness and to be who you want to be, not who society is making you out to be, that is an option. But maybe also making the sacrifice of just being by yourself for a little bit, healing, learning yourself before getting into anything romantically speaking that will impact you in the long term, group number 4. So I see that a year from now there will have been a lot of growth and a lot of clarity that was gained where you started off in very murky, uncertain waters. Let's see what we've got next. Hope on the horizon. Now, group number 4, in Hope on the Horizon, I can see here that a year from now you feel as though all the goodness has just begun, like you've only just started enjoying and exploring your love life. And I see here within Hope on the Horizon that you've got a good feeling for the future. You've got a good feeling for what's to come next and in the upcoming years. I do also want to use some runes in order for us to generate some more answers and some more information for you, group number 4. So I'll just go ahead and do that. These are crystal runes. I hope they're not too loud for you. But I know a lot of you love these sounds. So we're going to get, okay, we've got one blank rune. So starting from that fresh slate, right? That makes a lot of sense here with becoming nobody. I'll put it right on this card. Then let's identify these runes. I believe this is a Jera. So within Jera, I can see here that this is all about peace for you. That's an important part, and that's where you feel like there's more hope on the horizon for just a peaceful love life, a stable one where you don't feel as though you constantly need to worry or you're constantly in a space of fight or flight or arguments or pettiness or anything like that. Next up, we've got another rune. Let me identify for you group number 4. So within this rune, I believe we've got Turisaz. So Turisaz is a rune of change. It is a rune of kind of like moving from what you thought that you knew to all of a sudden being in a space where everything is completely new, and that being okay for you, group number 4. I'm just moving the runes away for now. And overall, I can see that a year from now for you, you're going to feel as though things have gotten better gradually. There are still some loose ends that need to be tied, but you're feeling really ambitious. You're feeling really fired up. Now, the on fire card also corresponds to the number 44. And the number 44, in case you did not know this, group number 4 is a master number. You belong to group number 4. The number 4 is pretty meaningful. We've also got 49 for you as well as 45. So reoccurring synchronicities of the number 4, that's not an unlikely thing to happen for you. Next up, we've got teaching. So I see that a year from now, romantically speaking, you are going to inspire the person who you're with, but I also see that teaching may have something to do with your romantic life, as in you teaching or the person with whom you're with being a teacher of some sorts. Now, that doesn't necessarily need to just mean in the traditional sense. They may also be a teacher in the sense of being a boss, being a CEO or a manager, and teaching other people in the company how they can then take over that position. Next up, we've got you're on the right path. A year from now, when it comes to your love life, we've got this powerful confirmation from your guides that you should keep doing what you're doing because it is absolutely working for you. And I do also see here within you're on the right path that it feels really liberating and freeing to know a year from now that you've grown from a lot of mistakes that you made at a younger stage and age, and you can now pursue some other things, some other ventures. Next up, we've got author. So in author, I can see that you are being called to write down your experiences that you're going through romantically speaking, and I can can see that a year from now, you may actually start writing in a journal or blogging or even creating a book that has to do with some sort of love story. It may be inspired by your own or by one that you simply always had within you. And just using love in order to create is what I see for you a year from now. Now, love can also inspire other creations, such as song lyrics, such as poetry, such as art, actually, like any type of visual expression, as I do see here that the romantic energy that has accumulated within you is wanting to be expressed and to be put and packaged into something beautiful for the world. I see here within music that just as we were talking about a second ago, group number 4, your connection to music is really healing, especially in connectivity to love and to your romantic life. The more you kind of embrace the writing and the music and wherever it is that you are romantically speaking, the greater your art will be, and also the greater chances of your art being seen by a lot of people, because you're going through some very relatable things a year from now, group number 4, and just putting that into art is one of the best things you can do. I mean, some of the best songs, the most played hits, are based on breakups or are based on feeling love, feeling romantic feelings towards another person, anything that invokes strong emotion, right? Whether that is infatuation, pure love, heartbreak, betrayal. These are all different emotions upon which you can just build so much and create so much with. So love in your romantic life is an inspiration in itself. Next up, we've got the bee spirit. So I do see here that you're working really hard, and a year from now, it's going to pay off. So either working hard on yourself or on your relationship. And I can see that a year from now, when it comes to your romantic life, it just shows that all of it wasn't in vain. All of it wasn't just because, okay? The bee spirit shows us that you've got some amazing results that await you a year from now. And in the chameleon spirit, I can see that it has to do with transparency about how someone feels about you. So if someone feels good about you, think of them as a little chameleon, and them feeling good is actually showing up as a blue color on their skin, then they will turn blue because they just cannot hide it, right? They may want to act as if, but I can see here with the bee spirit and the chameleon spirit that transparency is what's actually going to happen. So if they, for example, feel really passionate about you, really loving and romantic, know here within the chameleon spirit that that may show up as red, for example. So what I'm trying to explain, group number 4, and I think you understand, is just that the person with whom you'll be involved with a year from now, romantically speaking, will not be able to hide how they truly feel about you. And from your reading, it doesn't look like they even want to either. Next up, we've got the hummingbird spirit. Being here and being here right now, understanding mindfulness and putting your phone away, putting your laptop out of reach, making sure that you're turning off the TV, spending time with loved ones in an uninterrupted way is one thing that I see here within the hummingbird spirit. Now, the snake spirit shows me that a year from now is definitely also a time for you to heal relationships, to bring relationships back that didn't quite make it through a very rough patch of your romantic life, and to just make sure that everything is left on a positive note. So if there were friends or family that were harmed in situations where there was also a romantic partner involved, that old skin is all shedding. It is definitely a time of coming together, of healing for whatever reason a year from now in this world and in your life specifically. There will just be this massive forgiveness, this need to move on and to not feel as though you are holding on to any grudge or you have to kind of be mad or anything like that whatsoever. Next up, we've got the North Node. Now, group number 4, in the North Node, I can see that the future is looking bright as the North Node corresponds to the future. And the North Node, as well as hope on the horizon, also shows me here that your future is important and is being planned a year from now to great detail. So think, for example, a specific event like an engagement or a wedding that needs to be planned planned specifically and meticulously. You got to set a date, you got to set a budget. I see here within Saturn, we've got the planet of structure. After all, Saturn does not only speak of structure, but also limits, also taking responsibility and organizing, authority and maturity. That's one thing that I see here in Saturn. So you're definitely planning your life and what happens next in a super mature type of way. And these cards are meant to show you that a year from now, you'll have all of the tools that you need to do so. Right now, it's a little too early. So if you're kind of already thinking in that direction, or you're not sure when that's going to happen, but you simply want it to happen, give it some time, group number 4. It's not quite right yet. And also bear in mind here that these things are not to be rushed. Just think about it. Being in a relationship or having a romantic partner be in your life, whether you're married or whether you are just dating, they have an effect on you every single day, and you want to make sure that it is the best effect that they could possibly have, and that they aren't doing anything that maybe lessens your drive, your ambition, or your self-love. The 4th house shows me here that your home is really important. The 4th house is about your family, your past, and it connects to Cancer. The 4th house being connected to Cancer shows me that a year from now, your home life is of the utmost importance to you. And you're also kind of thinking to yourself how these big decisions are going to affect your family, how what you're doing in the future may affect everyone and everything around you. So that's one thing that I see in the 4th house, the North Node, as well as Saturn for you, group number 4. But I want to move a little further into your reading. Let me just grab this tattooed tarot deck so we can get some more info out for you, shall we? So we've got the 5 of Cups reversed. So going to therapy is a good idea. I see that a year from now that will alleviate a lot of stress, a lot of uncertainty. I see that with Saturn, as well as the 4th house, talking to someone about your home life. Also, premarital counseling is something that I think is super underrated too. Then we've got the 8 of Coins for you, group number 4. Now, the 8 of Coins reversed definitely shows me here that when it comes to your earthly endeavors and okay, we have another card that popped right out of the pile. This card clearly wants to have something to do with the 8 of Coins. So let's see what it is. We've got the Empress. So in the Empress, I can see here that there's a lot of fertility when it comes to your earthly ventures. That's one thing that we've got with the Empress. The Empress also corresponds to the planet of Venus, which is the planet of creativity, love, as well as values. And Venus rules Taurus as well as Libra, in case you didn't know. So I do see here for you with the Empress that there is an abundance here when it comes to finances, but they're tied up. The 8 of Coins reversed shows us that for some reason you're not accessing those financial means. For some reason you're not able to spend that much money or time. So knowing what we know about the potential situation of a wedding, engagement party, or maybe even a divorce, it makes a lot of sense as to why finances would be tied up a year from now. The 6 of Wands shows me that in the end, it'll all work out though, group number 4. So don't stress, don't fret. This is just another season that you're meant to cruise through and that you're meant to learn from, but it's not going to be detrimental to anything within your life, your romantic existence moving forward. So if you've made it to this point of your reading, group number 4, leave a little bee spirit below in the description box to let me and others know that you were here. Also, I would just like to thank you so much for spending this divine time and space with me. I will now proceed to cleanse and clear the space so we can get into part 2 of your love life a year from now, so we can figure out even more details, group number 4. So I'll catch you in a second. Okay, group number 4, are you ready to continue on with your reading about your love life a year from now? Because I certainly am. So let's get into it. We've got really, group number 4, we've got love is in the air. So it's very clear that your love life a year from now is going to be filled with romantic love. If there's one card that would describe this perfectly, then it's this one, group number 4. And the universe and your guides want you to know this within this reading right at the start. And in connectivity to you choosing the Pyrite crystal, it definitely shows that there is an abundance of all things love that is apparent a year from now for you. Next up, we've got got create and progress. So I do see here that, again, the creative aspect is part of what your love life is going to fuel. But I also see here that the more you create, the more you do, the more you can progress in your career as well. So your love life is actually fueling some sort of promotion, some sort of big project that may actually be a breakthrough, as we've got know your worth in here too. So I do see that, again, the number 4 is so important for you, group number 4. We already saw that, we mentioned that. Let me tell you why. We've got the number 4 in create and progress. We've got the number 16 in love is in the air, and the number 24 in know your worth. Now, all of these numbers can be divided by 4, right? 4 can be divided in and of itself. We've got 16, which divided by 4 is 4, and then we've got 24, which can be divided by 4, right? And has a 4 within it. So I do see here that knowing your worth will be very important. So when people want to work with you and your work is kind of being sought out, it is super important for you to make sure that you know your worth, that you're quoting properly, and that you're understanding that years and years of putting in hard work is worth something. Just because you've maybe never took a payment before for a side hustle or a business, or you're just starting off, doesn't mean that you have to undervalue or undersell what it is that you have to offer. Next up, we've got big changes as well as hidden in plain sight. So the changes that are coming towards you in your love life that will be apparent a year from now are actually just hidden in plain sight. So the person with whom you'll end up with is maybe very close by, group number 4, closer than you'd ever expect. They're maybe just in plain sight. It could be a coworker, it could be a neighbor, someone who you've known for a long time. And I see that they're connected to the big changes. We've got, Sagittarius. This is someone who has fiery energy, right? Because Sagittarius is a fire sign. They're passionate, enthusiastic, as well as spontaneous. And furthermore, Sagittarius is actually a mutable sign, which means that they're super adaptable, they're quick, they're changeable, and this person is resourceful. So all of the traits that you may want, plus a rock hard body. That's one thing that we've got here in Sagittarius. So next up, we've got Pallas Athena. So Pallas Athena shows me that regardless of what the surface may look like, you are definitely using your mind wisely. You're definitely tending to all of the little details. You're looking at red flags, and you're not simply just allowing for someone to talk you into something that you don't want to be talked into. We've got retrograde, which is all about you reviewing what you've got. So a year from now, it's almost as though anyone whom you're romantically interested in will go through a type of check, a review, a screening process almost. And I want you to understand here that the screening process is actually something that I feel a lot of us skip over way too quickly. It is so important and imperative that we screen people before we decide to settle down or to spend a significant amount of time with them or to make them a boyfriend or a girlfriend, because after all, sometimes this can equate to decades of a relationship that isn't healthy. But had we just taken a couple extra weeks or months to review who was before us, we could have avoided this toxic situation altogether. So take your time, group number 4, by all means. In the South Node, I can see here that your past is really important as well. So everything that you've been through is like a little nugget of wisdom, a big nugget of wisdom, actually, group number 4, that is helping you through this process a year from now when it comes to your love life, when it comes to understanding what's next for you, what steps to take. All of the experiences that you have had up until this point will be invaluable, and they will also help you remember all of the times that you may be undersold or undervalued yourself, either romantically or in a material sense. And you will find that the best thing that you can do is just quit doing that, never do it again, don't look back, and you will think to yourself, you wish you would have done it sooner. There is no person who is in a toxic or undervalued job or relationship who thinks to themselves, oh, I wish I would have waited, right? Everyone always says, I wish I would have done it months, years, decades earlier. So value yourself from now on, group number 4. You don't even need to wait the year, this is something that you should be doing now. Next up, we've got the Hawaiian owl. So in the Hawaiian owl, we've got your ancestral spirit guides offering you guidance now. So pay close attention to signs and omens from them. So they will be sending in the number 444. I can guarantee you that. By the way, in Hidden in Plain Sight, we've got 46. So we've got the number 4 in there. Again, it's not a number that is dividable by 4. I mean, it is, but you know what I mean. We won't get a whole 4 in the end. But again, we've got the number 4 in there because there is a reason why the Wild Muse Oracle deck has this synchronicity with the number 4 prepared for you. The only one that does not correspond to 4 is the number 39, which is a very interesting number as it can only be divided with itself or the number 1. All other numbers would be kind of broken, would be in decimals. So this is a very interesting prime number to show up for you. Next up, we've got the Wolverine. So a year from now, you'll realize that you've always been way stronger than you've ever given yourself credit for, group number 4. And this can feel so empowering and good, especially when it comes to love, as you know that no matter what may transpire romantically speaking, you've got a solid head on your shoulders. You have built a solid foundation where you can pick yourself back up from any type of challenge that life or love may present to you. Next up, we've got the polar bear. So the polar bear is a symbol of standing up for yourself and speaking your truth respectfully and compassionately with absolutely no attachment to the outcome. So a year from now, you will have learned how to be more of just the outspoken version of you and less of a people pleaser, also romantically speaking. Sometimes there are those little things that you do in relationships because you just don't want to speak the truth and you're afraid of what may happen, especially if you haven't known this person for a long time. You may not want to tell them, for example, that you don't like an item of clothing that they wear. Maybe you don't like how they style their hair, or maybe you want to speak up about something that you need. Maybe you need more words of affirmation, more acts of service. And it's difficult for you to voice that, but I see that a year from now, you're making more of those types of things a priority because you understand that for the longevity of any relationship and also your happiness in a relationship, it is essential that you do this. Next up, we've got the humpback whale. Now in the humpback whale, music is essential to your healing. That's the main message, but also to your well-being, whether you're singing, playing an instrument, or listening. Know that a year from now, you will have kind of been able to dive more into music in general, understanding music, and also doing music. And in the humpback whale, I can see here that your healing and well-being is very much attached to that. So creating music or just being involved with music, even if you're just listening to it, that is putting you on a whole nother frequency and level of happiness that you don't experience otherwise. So there are some very unique songs and playlists that a year from now will not only remind you of what you've been through. So if you're going through a sad time, like creating a sad playlist and listening back to that and reminding yourself how far you've come, but also creating a playlist for feeling happy. Maybe a playlist that you listen to when you're in the bedroom, if you know what I mean, group number 4. Maybe another playlist that you put on when you're commuting, when you're on your way to somewhere and you want to get pumped up. You want to have that extra bit of confidence in you. So that is where I can see that music plays a big supporting role in your love life and just helps you get in the type of mood that you know you need to be in for success. Next up, we've got the Iolite. So the Iolite is about shifting your money mindset in the relationship. So when it comes to love, you are definitely shifting your money mindset when it comes to knowing your worth and understanding how long you also kind of want to wait around for someone to show that they know your worth. Because of course, when you're just seeing someone, it may take them a while to properly show all facets and angles of where they're coming from and show all ways in which they truly appreciate you and in which that they are also putting their money where their mouth is. That's one thing that I see in the Iolite and knowing your worth. It's not about how much they spend. It's just about the commitment, right? It's just about thinking ahead, purchasing tickets to go somewhere with you, to do something with you. That's one thing that I see here within the Iolite. Next up, we've got the Celestite. Now, the Celestite shows me that soothing your soul a year from now is something you do through creating, but also through kind of knowing that you've screened potential partners and you've gone through so many little screening processes. You've considered all of the red flags. So now your soul is like Suze. You don't need to worry whether you did your best. You know you did. You don't need to worry whether this is the right person for you or not. You simply just have this understanding that, yeah, you've made the right choice. You're in the right situation. There's no second guessing. And what you can then do is just enjoy your person, is just enjoy your romantic situation or relationship. Next up, we've got the carnelian for you, group number 4. The carnelian is a stone of creativity. It seems as though Spirit is repeating some messages for you, group 4, just in order to reiterate, right? And with the carnelian, we have not only feeding your creativity, which is the message that's written on this card, but I want you to know that the carnelian is also a crystal that speaks of being able to be passionate, to be unafraid to show your more sensual side, the side of you that is not PG-13, if you know what I mean, group number 4. And overall, knowing here with the polar bear that there's no reason to overthink. You're most likely speaking actually just going to find out that your person or your situationship is benefiting from you being open about what you like romantically, sensually, and sexually, rather than keeping it to yourself and always having this little void within your romantic life that is never able to be filled because you haven't spoken about it, because you haven't told anyone what you wanted. Next up, we've got the garnet. Now, the garnet ignites passion. So with being outspoken, saying what it is that you want to try and that you want to do, also comes that passion, right? That passion of now finally being able to enjoy, finally being able to be intimate with someone who gets you, who understands what you need, what makes you feel good, what gets you to that place, group number 4. I do want to keep this reading very family friendly, so you get the gist, group 4. That's what we've got in the garnet, the carnelian, and some of the other parts of your reading that have to do with intimacy. So overall, group number 4, it seems as though there's also some affluence here when it comes to financial standpoints. We've got shifting your money mindset, knowing your worth, as well as the pyrite for you that signify that, and just overall being with someone who is financially literate and who knows how to build generational wealth and real financial stability. Now, group number 4, this is the second part to your reading that I received for you. I really hope you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Make sure that you leave a little whale emoji below, or actually even a little money bag emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you are here and that you enjoyed your reading. Furthermore, you can find these crystal rings as well as many other styles and designs that I just launched. These are like a new luxury line of real crystal rings. So here we've got the citrine, here we've got the sky blue topaz, here we've got moonstone, we've got 2 amethyst rings that I was wearing throughout your reading, as well as a peridot in the middle. But you can find all that information on bowlife.com. Also, if you want any of these pieces in special sizes, or you prefer the pieces in silver, you can just drop a message to contact@bowlife.com in order to make a special request for all of these handmade pieces. Furthermore, don't forget to check out the Wild Muse Oracle deck that was just launched and published. All of them come in this beautiful collector's box, as well as a velvet pouch. You've got some affirmations, the hardcover guidebook, as well as the cards, of course. So for all of you who ask me about these things, it can all be found on bowlife.com, as well as so many other crystal and spiritual related items. So thank you so much, group number 4, for being here, for spending this divine time and space with me, for connecting with another human being, and also just doing some self-reflection, self-care, and giving yourself that encouragement and empowerment. I wish you a beautiful day or night wherever you are in this world, and know that I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to speak to you in one of my upcoming predictions. Thank you.